Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome to the Suicide Squad. I just saw the movie last night. It was freaking awesome. I wanted to talk about it. Got myself some notes here. We're gonna start with like non-spoilers, then we're gonna move to spoiler stuff later on. So first of all, the movie itself. The movie itself is really, really awesome. It's got everything going for it. It's funny. It's action-packed. It's very gory. I think it's rated R, so expect that. It's unexpected. The characters are interesting. It's just a really an all-around very 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 fun movie with an excellent pacing. I think that's so massive. Only like lately am I realizing how good a well-paced movie is. You know what I'm saying? Like you never get bored, you never like fall asleep during it. You never like have time to ask questions because stuff is always happening and the plot is always moving. So it's really cool. And this movie is just like that. It's non-stop. I think the movie's like 2 hours long or something, or two and a couple of minutes or something. And I just didn't see the time fly. Like I when the movie finished, I'm like, oh shit, what time is it? It was like 2:30 a.m. I'm like, oh crap, what happened? It really just like flew by. So, what can I compare it with? I would say I'm thinking like two movies, right? I'm thinking imagine something like Aquaman in scope. Feels like very adventurous, but way better than Aquaman. Aquaman, there was like a lot. I had a lot of questions about that movie. It was a fun movie. It was very bright. It was very very colorful, and it's the same thing for the Suicide Squad. But a lot of the decisions in that movie were very questionable. So imagine like Aquaman, but like done way better, like way way better. And also the other movie I gotta compare it with is Deadpool. It's as gory as Deadpool. You have frontal nudity like Deadpool. It's the only difference between this and Deadpool is that I would say the jokes in the Suicide Squad are better than that Deadpool. A lot of the jokes in Deadpool were kind of like forcing you to laugh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, ha ha ha, well, that's so funny. When like really like there wasn't like anything crazy about it. It was kind of like a bit obvious. And I'm saying this as a Deadpool fan. Deadpool being my favorite hero, anti-hero, mercenary, enemy, evil guy, whatever you want. But he's been everything, right? And the jokes in this one, I think, are way better. But it's kind of like a mix of like a better Aquaman with, in the sense of adventure, and Deadpool in the sense of gore and nudity, I would say, and violence, obviously, right? Um, but once again, the pacing, man, is just so goddamn good. It's I don't know. I'm looking at other movies nowadays, and I take a look at the pacing, and it's like they have like these moments where it's just boring, where nothing happens. Suicide Squad from start to finish, all the way, stuff is happening. It's action packed. It's amazing. The humor. So I said Deadpool humor before, and the humor in this movie is very out of left field. It's not something that you expect. You know what I'm saying? The jokes are different. Sometimes you get stuff that you expect. Sometimes they're kind of obvious. You see them coming from a mile away. But most of the time, they're done really well. They're done really funny. They're out of left field. You have no idea what's going on, but you're just laughing. And it's one of the few movies that I actually laughed out loud in like different parts of the movie, like actually like laughing, which for me is kind of like crazy because it takes me a lot to laugh. So the humor is really, really, really good. So I can also see why. I can see it was done by James Gunn, right? And now I can see why Marvel kind of like uncanceled James Gunn because Marvel fired James Gunn. He's like, hey, I don't know, you made some tweets like 20 years ago. You're out. We're on to work with you. And then like later on, they're like, no, no, it's fine. Come back. And I'm like, what the hell? How come? Well, how does that happen, right? But it's really just because the guy is really good. Like I was really surprised. And then I kind of like remembered a bit about Guardians of the Galaxy. And when Guardians of the Galaxy was announced, and like everybody was like, "Oh man, this movie's gonna suck." Who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Nobody knows them. And James Gunn made them like a household name if you think about it, right? Not the Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody knows Star Lord, right? He's freaking like he's out there, right? When before like nobody knew about it, he took a franchise that was completely non-existent and turned it into a household name. Now they're making the third movie, which is gonna kick ass, right? So I can see why James Gunn is getting the praise that he's getting because he's done a really, really good job on this movie. And I would say it's probably even better than both Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm telling you this as a Marvel fan. I don't care for DC at all. I've been a Marvel fan since I was a kid. I saw all the Marvel movies. I saw all the MCU. I saw everything except Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I haven't finished that yet. I gotta check them out. But again, DC, I don't care for it. The best DC movie I think is The Dark Knight, and besides that, there was nothing much really. But this movie really blows all the other DC movies out of the water, I think. And when I say this, okay, don't go in and expect like freaking like an epic story of I don't know what. Don't expect like Schindler's List or something. It's not gonna get Oscars, you know what I'm saying? But for what it was, a summer popcorn flick type of movie, you can go in, shut off your brain, and just watch it and have fun. It really excels at that. It's really goddamn good at that. It really did an excellent job at that. And really, James Gunn is to thank for that because the guy has a good vision. And what he did for Guardians of the Galaxy and what he did for the Suicide Squad, I gotta give him credit, man, because it's goddamn good. And I also read lately that DC wants to keep him for future projects. He's got work with Marvel as well. So overall, I mean, this guy's like really making it happen. And after watching this movie, I can see why. I could see why after Guardians of the Galaxy, but I really see why after this movie. I really think this movie it's what you expect, but at the same time it's so different. And it's also, I want to say, it's a bit refreshing after seeing all the boring DC movies like Superman and Justice League, and just again just like very boring movies. Nothing's really happening in them. There's action, but besides the warehouse scene with Batman, nothing really is happening, right? And it's also very different from Marvel. I mean, this is a very raw movie. It's very uncut. It's very gory. You're not gonna see this at Marvel, not until they bring Deadpool, which they promise will be rated R. But you're not gonna see this in a Marvel movie. You know, Marvel movies are very very safe, very clean, very inclusive. You know, everything's like properly selected by a group of psychologists to please to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna take any chances. But DC, they took a chance with this one, and man, I think it's like their best work yet in since The Dark Knight, pretty much. It's really goddamn good. The characters are really funny. They're really good. I mean, Idris Elba and John Cena together. I mean, I knew as I saw the trailer, I'm like, these guys, they're gonna kick ass together, and they really did. They have really good synergy, man. They're so good together. And I'm gonna give you some scenes in the spoilers afterwards. And also, what's cool is that the movie didn't break any of the established rules in the universe. There was no dumb decisions. There's no unexplained solutions. Nobody does anything stupid. Everything makes sense. There's no point in the movie where I had to like question it, going like, wait, how did that happen? Why is this like that? Why is this going there and stuff like that? Never happened. Maybe like a tiny question that I completely forgot about until I had to like write these notes down. But besides that, no, everything makes sense. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It's all within the rules of the universe. You don't have to, you don't have to suspend your. It doesn't break immersion. You know what I'm saying? Never. So that's really, really, really a great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it right now. I think it's on HBO Max, I believe, or you can go watch it at the cinema, at the theater. And if you already saw it, well, stay tuned because we got some spoilers. If you haven't, then please close the video. Come back when you actually seen it, because I'm gonna drop into spoilers right now. All right, so if you haven't seen the movie, close it, go watch it. It's worth it, trust me. All right, so spoilers. The story itself. So when I saw the trailer and they showed you like two different Suicide Squads, I'm like, oh, for sure, like the first one's dead. I didn't even say it in the reaction for the trailer. I'm like, for sure they're gonna kill a Suicide Squad. Then the main Suicide Squad is gonna come in to rescue them or to finish their mission or something. And that's exactly what happened. They came in to do both, right? So, what's great about this movie is that it takes these detours, like it goes places like you wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying? Like a normal movie would be like, the first Suicide Squad dies, this Suicide Squad comes in, saves everybody, completes the mission. But this one goes on to a Harley gets married to the president of the nation that they're trying to like attack, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, they didn't get married, but they were about to get married, right? I'm like, what the hell? It's so random. It's so out there. It's stuff like this that you don't expect. When they go to like save a flag, right? they go and they kill all these bad guys, but turns out the bad guys were like actually rebels and part of the resistance, and you're like, wait, what? They just killed the good guys. You know, it's like all these things that you don't see coming, and I really appreciate a movie that does that. How should I put it? This wasn't episode 7 from Star Wars to like subvert your expectations and really just slap you in the face with like something that makes no sense, comes out of nowhere, and you're just left with more questions than answers. This one makes sense. This one makes sense for them to actually fuck up and kill the rebels. This one actually makes sense for Harley to get married to the president, seeing how fucked up they both are in the head. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, I don't know, man. It's so cool. It's so refreshing, you know? And once again, the pacing of the movie nonstop. I mean, the movie starts off and you got like action scene from the beginning credits till the end. Not that it's only action, and you know, eventually like it gets boring, gets stale. But you also have like some heartfelt moments. You also have some like more bits of comedy sprinkled within the movie. You have characters bonding, character growth, a bit of like exposition, which I wasn't too huge on, but it's fine. It wasn't there for too long. You know, just give us a bit of the background of the characters. That's fine. So overall, it's just a really, really, really great, great pacing all around. Great action. The action was really awesome. Explosions, destruction, fire, blood, people getting destroyed in all kinds of ways. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool. The main bad guy, Starro, the Conqueror, right? He was a bit weird on how he operated, but I was left with some questions. I wasn't exactly. I thought, you know, what I thought they were going for. I thought they were gonna go for Starro. Starro is not actually evil. He's actually a good guy because he gets captured by astronauts. He was just like flying. He was just floating in space. He gets captured and then he gets experimented on. Like so far, nothing tells us that he's evil, right? He just got caught. But then he starts possessing people. He starts mind controlling people and whatnot. But even that can be seen as a self-defense, right? And even towards the end, when, if you guys know, when if you've seen the movie, of course, I hope you did. When he escapes and he takes over all the civilians. At one point, he was only like taking over the people who were shooting at him. And I thought, okay, I'm like, he's just gonna like, maybe there's like a peaceful solution out of all of this. We just tell him to leave or something, right? Because he was just defending himself, right? But no, it turns out he was evil, and you know, he wanted to conquer the city. And as they were saying in the movie that the more he absorbs, the more people he controls, the bigger he gets. So I'm guessing that eventually the city turns into the country, and then the country turns into the continent, and then the world is gonna take over, and so on and so forth. So it makes sense they killed him in that sense, right? But still, it's just at one point I'm like, I also kind of like, I don't know, it's he uses the starfish to control people, but just having a mask on doesn't work on you. So basically, like just putting your hands in front of your like face, like the starfish won't do anything. So that's kind of like, I don't know. It's just like that's it. That's all it takes. Really, just have a mask on. I mean, everybody could be wearing a mask, and Star wouldn't be able to do anything, right? Unless he gets involved, and you know he's super strong and whatnot and massive, right? So that was a bit interesting, very different. It didn't go the way I thought it would, and that was pretty cool as well. They killed him anyway, so whatever. The characters themselves, Bloodsport. So here's what I thought, right? When the movie started, so tell me if this seems familiar to you, right? Especially if you've seen the first movie, the first Suicide Squad, right? It's the story of a black man, single parent, with a daughter who's in jail and possibly trying to, you know, be a good person. All right? You'd be saying, okay, that's just Bloodshot from the first Suicide Squad. Sorry. No, wait. Not Blood. Yeah, that's a Bloodshot. Bloodsport, Bloodshot. That's just Bloodshot from the first Suicide Squad, right? That's just Will Smith's character, right? And at first I'm like, okay, they probably like had Will Smith planned for the second one, for the second movie. They probably had Bloodshot planned to return, but maybe like last second Will Smith pulled out. So they're like, okay, we need like a new. We're just gonna keep Bloodshot and replace him with like another actor and keep moving with that, right? But no, Bloodsport is completely different from Bloodshot. Yes, they're both weapon masters. but Bloodshot's powers work way different. And yes, he's a single parent with a daughter, but like his daughter like completely hates him and he completely hates her. He doesn't even know like her age. Like it's like completely like it's completely different from Bloodshot, which had like a loving relationship with his daughter. Bloodsport like really just doesn't give a fuck about his only daughter, and she's kind of like a troublemaker and whatnot, right? She's about to go to jail. That's why they get him. So that was like complete again. You expect something, and it's a complete different thing. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. Peacemaker is just John Cena with a really cool looking gun. He has a ton of great lines. He's super funny. The synergy between Bloodsport and Peacemaker is awesome. The scene where they're like killing the rebels and they're both trying to like outdo each other with like their weapons and whatnot. I was dying. It was so funny. It was so good. Even at the beginning when they introduce Peacemaker, they're like, no, sorry, when they introduce Bloodsport and they're like, he was a he's a professional weapon master slash assassin trained from a young age by his father, and he's super deadly and this and that. And then they introduce Peacemaker, and they're like, he's a weapon master slash assassin trained by his father ever since he was a kid. He's super deadly. And I'm like, wait a second, did you just give that info for about like Bloodsport? And like, yeah, that's it. That's like the whole joke. They're both like the same character, but they're so different. It's so cool. It makes, again, them working together, it's so goddamn. It was one of the best parts of the movie I found out. It was really cool they went together. Like that part and the in the camp where they're killing rebels, superb, just awesome, right? Especially the part where he goes, aren't you trying to show off? When he goes, Bloodsport tells that to Peacemaker, and Peacemaker is like, yeah, except only when it's cool and it makes sense, or something like that. Only when it's like really awesome. And then Bloodsport turns around, he's like, damn it, he's right. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed like shit, he got me, man. It was so good. So Peacemaker dies until you see the ending, and he doesn't. I was so happy when they killed him. I'm like, really? Like, you really want to kill like Peacemaker? He was like really funny. He was really good. And then at the end, they show us after the credits that he did survive. I'm like, oh, thank God. And I know they're making a show out of him, out of Peacemaker coming up, so that's cool because he's really good. He's really funny. John Cena plays that role where you're serious but you're funny at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be taken seriously, but it's not because it's so ridiculous. So it's taken in a funny way, and he also plays a bit kind of dumb at some points, and it's really cool. Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn. She's the same as in all the movies. She's very enjoyable. She has just that degree of crazy, like just enough. It's not overboard. It's just enough. It's not Deadpool, obviously. Deadpool is Deadpool, whatever. But Harley's just the right amount of crazy. She's real fun. She's really fun in the movie. She has some great lines. When she calls Bloodsport at the end, she calls him Milton or whatever the guy who died's name was. Like, oh, by the way, your name. What did she say? It was like, well, after all, your name is Milton, right? Bloodsport's like, no, it's not. Like after the whole movie, like after like 3 hours or something, I'm like, you don't even know his name. Again, she's fucked up in the head, right? So that's she's pretty funny. She's pretty good. The whole story with the javelin from the first Suicide Squad makes a lot of sense. It's pretty cool. They brought that back. It's freaking awesome. Flag, I'm not sure why he's back. I don't even know how his role works in the Suicide Squad, because the Suicide Squad is supposed to be like a bunch of like criminals sent on these suicide missions, right? But then you also have Flag, who's there, who's part of the people controlling them, right? So it made sense in the first movie because he was there to like control them. But in this one, they send one squad with him, and they send another squad like nobody in it to control them, right? So then, what was the point of Flag being there to begin with? Shouldn't he be safe at home base or whatever? But he's a cool character. He's probably like one of the blandest ones, I would say, but he still, serves his role. He also dies, by the way. So there's that. But he did what he had to do, right? He's a cool character. It's alright. He's just like very bland compared to all the other freaks, let's say, right? All the other weirdos in the team, He's just like a regular guy. So maybe that was the whole point, right? Ratcatcher 2. She's alright. She kind of like saves the movie at the end. She kind of like saves the world, right? When you don't expect it with rats out of all things, right? It made sense. It was pretty damn cool. Her character was pretty funny with the whole sleeping thing. She's like half asleep, half the movie, which is pretty cool. She was just an all around good character. Very kind. The rat was nice. Sebastian, I think was his name. It was pretty funny. Uh, Bloodsport hates rats. He has a phobia. Like again, just these things like they're like so random, which is so cool. Polka Dot Man. This guy, the scene with his mom, okay, in the jungle, where he shows us what he sees, and he sees the members of the Suicide Squad as his mom. I was dying. It was so funny. They kind of like overplayed the scene again with Starro, but like whatever. Just the scene in the jungle when you first see it, and you see everybody as his mom, including the shark, looking after a bird, and he's like, "What the hell is going on?" I was dying at that scene. It was so funny. It's like, what is his mom? Just like this old lady, like like no point whatsoever. Like it's just there. It's so random. It's so funny. I was dying. So he and I actually like I think he had like the strongest powers in the whole movie. Like this guy, like polka dots that kind of like act like lasers or like what are you gonna call them? Something dots that basically like disintegrate wherever they touch. He was pretty damn strong, right? And finally, you have Sharkman. That's what I call him. I know he has a name, Amumbe or something. I forgot exactly what it was. I forgot his comic book name. It wasn't Sharkman. It was something else. I forgot. Anyways, call him Sharkman. Super funny guy. Super funny guy. And the voice it was done by Sylvester Stallone. And his dialogue consists of like one or two words. Points at his hand. You saw this in the trailer. Hand. It's like, okay, yeah, thanks, man. Good job. Good. You brought a lot to the discussion. He's just like so like dumb, absent-minded. Says like the funniest shit, the most random shit that has nothing to do with anything, and it's so goddamn good. He's gonna does his own business. He's pretty much invincible. You can't really kill him. He just goes around and does whatever he does. Eats people and he rips people in half. That's all he does, right? So he's really really funny. He's really really cool. So overall, the characters were great. They were very fun, and of course Milton. I think that's his name, right? The Latino guy at the end was kind of like part of the movie for like the last half, but like he doesn't say one word and he's just there planting explosives. At one point, gets shot. It's like, who is that guy? He's just joined out of nowhere. He's just a random guy, right? So that's it. The characters were all great. Again, great pacing, great synergy between them. It was really fun. They made a great team. Just all around great. So I got some pros. I got some cons here. Pros, it's again super well paced, super funny with original jokes, interesting characters, absolutely, and the synergy between them. It was really 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 great. Overall, a very fun movie, well paced. Once again, I'm gonna say this word a lot. Well pacing. It's so goddamn important, and James Gunn really got the pacing down 100%. Cons. I kind of wish that I knew more about the first Suicide Squad. A lot of characters that are involved they don't really do anything. They just get killed, like straight up. Like they don't show their powers. There's this guy called Blackguard. I have no idea what he does. He runs on the beach, gets shot in the face. That's it. He didn't do anything else. Weasel dies. Well, he comes back to life afterwards at the end after the credits. The first after the credit scene. Weasel, which just falls in the water and dies. Like that's it. That's it. The alien girl, I don't know. I forgot her name. I guess she was super strong. I don't know. Savant, what was his powers besides bouncing the ball on all the targets? I would have loved to see him actually do something. But then again, maybe that's his charm. You don't have to know like all the powers. You don't have to know like everything. Just them being there and dying. Maybe that's like the whole point. It just shows how disposable they are. The characters, they don't give a damn about them, right? I also think that Starro got nerfed. I don't know much about DC Comics, but I think I remember reading somewhere that Starro was basically insanely powerful. Like basically, again, I'm not sure. I don't want to make shit up, but I think I saw that basically like fight Superman and stuff like no problems whatsoever. He's kind of like a galaxy threat or something. Like this guy shows up, like everybody's dead. So I think he got nerfed. If you think about it, really, what could Starro do against Superman wearing a mask? Nothing. He could. I mean, Quinn pierced Starro's eye with that javelin, right, with a spear. Superman could just do the same, and like he'd be wearing a mask, so the small starfish wouldn't be able to control him, and Starro probably wouldn't have enough strength to actually hold him back with his tentacles, so he could just go in and just blast Starro out of the sky, right? So I think he got nerfed. I'm not sure. Once again, I have no idea. And I think that Harley kind of got buffed. I mean, at one point she kills like 8,000 guys. Not 8,000, I'm exaggerating. She kills like, I don't know, like 40 guys with guns in this very... in this scene reminiscent of Equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this gun food kind of stuff, which is like... I don't remember Harley Quinn being a weapon master of any sort. She's kind of like more like a troublemaker. You know, she has the bat, whatever, but... No, straight up like just kills like 800 guys, man, like with guns, which makes sense. It was well done. She did catch him by surprise in a lot of times, so it's really cool. It was well done. I can. That was actually my question in the movie. That's kind of like the only time where I actually questioned the movie. I'm like, wait, when did she get so good? Then again, I don't know the comics. Maybe in the comics, maybe nowadays in the comics, she's really that good with guns. I have no idea. And my other issue, which again, these are just like they're not even issues. They're just like I'm just picking at the movie. Really, I have nothing bad to say about it. Really. Just nitpicks, you know, is that like basically half the characters, their superpower were guns, like Bloodsport guns, Peacemaker guns, Harley Quinn guns, Polka Man the dots, Ratcatcher rats, and Sharkman just being strong. But like 3 of those characters, and Flag if you want to count them, guns as well. Like 4 characters out of 7, it was just guns. I'm like, okay, but like maybe they could have went a bit different with that, and you know. Bloodsport and Peacemaker did use other weapons. They had like swords and axes and all kinds of weird shit. Bloodsport especially has like all these guns on his body, and you know he combines them with different things and whatnot. So he has a flamethrower, he has a bow and arrow, he has darts, I think. Right? No, wait, darts was actually Peacemaker. Never mind. So overall, just I think they could have went for like different superheroes, super villains. Sorry. But at the same time, it was fine. It was really well done. It was really cool. A lot of shooting, which is fine. You know, it's action packed, right? So yeah, there you have it. That's kind of like my review of this movie. I just had to speak about it. It was really good. I was really impressed. I didn't expect anything going in. Maybe that's why I was so impressed. I thought it was gonna be I like the first movie. I saw the first movie and I it wasn't that good. A lot of things happened in the first movie were like it didn't make any sense. Like it took out of the movie a bit in my case, you know. But this one, nope, nothing. Everything just was a very comic book movie. You know what I'm saying? Very comic book movie. Very interesting. Very fun. Very funny. Action packed, gore packed, whatever you want, man. It was all there. Once again, I hope you've seen it. If you haven't, you watched this all the way. I go see it anyways, even though you kind of like spoiled yourself. You spoiled yourself, all right? Even though I spoiled you, but just go see it. It's a really good movie. I can see why James Gunn is getting work because goddamn, he's good. He's good. So thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.